The last time you guys were here on Icewind Rime of the Frostmaiden, you had defeated Zardoc Sunblight in his fortress. You'd managed to escape there from the other Dwergard general woman, Grandolpha Musgrave, who had managed to take over and use you guys as a means for overthrowing Zardoc. You destroyed his means of making war upon the 10 towns and ability to repair his Shardolin dragon. The dragon, however, is still wreaking havoc upon the 10 towns outwards. You elected to head towards the signal that Yatara had picked up on his crystal skull, finding a crashed craft of some sort slammed into the icy surface. Surrounded by alien creatures that attacked you, you managed to defeat them all and then climbed down into the hull. Inside of the hull, you found small squid-like creatures walking around on their tentacles that seemed to droop off of their faces. That quickly hid, and then a lot of you were attacked by these horrible golems made out of animal parts and people parts and dwarven parts that had been sort of slapped together and animated into living, walking, dead tissue in a horrible Frankenstein-like monster. They all moved towards you. However, you stood your ground, tossed your weapons down and attempted to make peace, only to find yourself approached by a mind flayer-like creature, but not tall like your typical mind flayer, but actually a gnome. Gnome-sized, with gnomish-looking features, but with the same tentacled face as other mind flayers, who came flying down the steps inside of this craft and approached you and said, seemingly without speaking, "This has all been a great big mistake. I think you guys have something that I need, and we could probably help each other out." Something to that effect. And this is where we find ourselves. I will take you there now. Inside of this crashed, mysterious craft. You all are inside of this craft. The walls are purple and seem to be half alive as the craft sort of seems to breathe, and the walls sort of move and twist with a unearthly motion. There are strange green orbs that glow with light lighting up the surroundings, and the small little squidling creatures peer out of crates they had hid themselves in. 2 large cannons of some sort line the ground that appear to be able to raise up to the ship deck above you that you climbed down in. They seem to be locked into position, and the gnomish mind flayer-like person comes down the steps and says, "This has all been a big misunderstanding. There's no need for violence here. We could help each other. My name is Vorin, and you all have something. I think you all have something that I need." And he looks directly at Yatara, who may still not be able to talk to us. What do you all do? Wow, this old-fashioned was hard.
So I want to make sure that if we enter into an agreement here to cooperate and help you out, we get certain assurances from you that we won't, shall we say, become members of the crew. Because I'm just looking around here, and it seems that it might be a part of this, a part of the way this ship runs, that people sort of evolve into being a part of your crew, and I don't think that's something we're interested in becoming.
He sort of like twists and these unearthly like tentacles move on his face, and he says, "Of course." Yatara says, "Part of the ship, part of the crew." He says, "Of course. We have no interest in collecting you as specimens or bringing you back to our world. I wish to welcome you aboard the Id Ascendant. That is the name of my craft. Welcome aboard. You have my assurances." And he can, you can sense, make me an intelligence save, Cadillac.
A save?
Yeah, intelligence saving throw. Don't get those that often. You can tell, Cadillac, that it is like probing your mind, like telepathically, psychically, not like in a like mean or invasive way, but he just sort of looks over at you and says, "You have my assurances, Cadillac."
Well, I think I feel you rummaging around in my noggin. So you know that I mean business if you don't keep to your word. And by holy Sylvanus, I will have Dust Crusher settle the argument if we have a problem.
Or I mean, you know, no violence, no harm. There is no need for us to come to blows. I think that we could be allies, even perhaps.
That is our wish.
You and your companions, I believe, are in possession of an artifact. I suspect it would mean nothing to you, but it does have some meaning to me. A crystal, in fact, that you may have noticed seems to radiate energies. If you would be willing to part with this artifact that I believe you possess, then perhaps I would be able to assist you in some way.
While we're sorting out this collaboration, just from a safety standpoint, we should probably hang on to that little plasma blaster you have there.
Oh, you mean I'm no, I'm sorry. He says, you all, as I can see and tell, are armed, and it doesn't seem right for me to unilaterally disarm as it was.
We'll trade. We'll trade.
Roll me persuasion.
I'm going to.
He looks at it and says, interesting. I'll make you a deal. I happen to have 5 of these plasma rifles. I will trade you 5 of these laser pistols for the crystal.
And Leonard keeps them all.
Does that seem equitable to you?
Oh,
we might want to each grab one before he just keeps them all.
Yeah, I definitely can't grab them all. Just if anyone ever wants them without a battle to the death.
5 laser pistols in exchange for the crystal.
He's not going to kill us with the crystal, is he?
Well, so
Like blow everything up.
He looks
just
as
gonna-
you. Are you thinking that, or do you say that? No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Ordella, are you thinking that, or are you saying that?
I'm thinking it.
He says he look as you think it. He looks over at you. Goes, no, of course not. I don't want to blow you up with the crystal. He says, I need it. Listen, the crystal is a source of energy for the ship. I need it in order to activate certain systems to be able to make repairs. We crashed hard, and most of our systems are offline and broken. I'm not able to engage the interdimensional jump drives, and if I'm ever going to get me and the rest of the crew and the squidlings out of here, then I need to be able to engage the interdimensional jump drives. And in order to power up the automated repair systems, I need a psi crystal.
I just look kind of dazed with my eyes glazed over, like, what?
I
just nod.
He looks at you and he says, crystal power boat.
Ah, okay.
I think to myself, and I don't know if he can pick up on robot thoughts, but if he can, he's going to hear me think, I would really like to make this deal, but one, it's Yatara's crystal. So I don't think I can give it up. And if it was mine, I couldn't give it up. And two, we should probably also parlay transportation back to the dragon into the deal.
Dragon?
Does this ship of yours have weapons? Not the hand blasters, proper weapons, I say as I turn around looking at what appear to be cannons right behind me.
He says, pay no attention to those phaser blasters.
We could use artillery, and it seems as though this ship of yours might be of benefit to us. Perhaps we would like to enter that into the negotiations.
Oh.
He says, well, Mr. Cadillac, unfortunately, yes, we do have the ability, the Air Descendant does have the ability to defend itself. But, unfortunately, most of our major systems were damaged in the crash. And weapon systems are the least important of the things that I need to get online.
But they are very important to us, potentially. So you say it can defend itself. I'm presuming it can offend itself, too. Because we have a dragon problem to sort out. And if there is a way that the crystal can bring the ship online, I believe that was the word you used. If it will make this thing work, and I wave my hands around, and help us defeat this dragon, we would be very appreciative, very appreciative.
He says, well, we might could work something out. I figure it will only take a month or two to get the proper systems online to be able to get the weapon systems operational again. But perhaps we could make an arrangement. Roll persuasion.
Okay.
He thinks about it as he's sort of muttering to himself about it will only take a month or two to get the proper systems online to be able to engage. He looks back and he says, No. Listen, the Air Descendant has already taken far too much damage. I can't risk my ship getting involved in a fight with a dragon. Mr. Cadillac, I'm very sorry, but this is your fight, not my fight.
What is the problem power?
The problem is not the problem is power, but the power needs to go to the automated repair systems to start up the repair mechanisms to mend the damage that was done in the crash.
Well, I have a god's worth of power right here, and I hold Dust Crusher in front of me, and it has the ability to ignite in light.
He sort of like
and I do so.
He sort of like puts like one little like squid tentacle up to his head and rubs his temple, and he says, unfortunately, it takes psionic energy to be able to power this ship.
Well,
which is why I need the psi crystal. He says, however, I do have the ability to use I will make you a deal, Mr. Cadillac. I do not have the ability to power up the entire ship right now to have weapon systems on board and flight controls on board and interdimensional jump drive on board, but I can, you want to get to this dragon of yours. I can use the interdimensional jump drive in order to actuate, reverse the photon beams and split the dampeners, and then I could reverse it through the ion flux channels, and I could use that to potentially affect a fast interdimensional jump through the same dimension that would be able to temporally and spatially transport individuals.
Could you use that to get us there before now?
Before now?
That's
Before
a good
now.
damn question.
I've never tried that before. Maybe.
That was a smart question, Leonard.
Where do you want to go?
So how long has it been since the dragon took flight? Like 2 days?
2 days.
And we know, because we had that table carved out that we took the dragon from, its exact route. So if we could get to it 2 days ago at the first city it would have come to, which was
Dugan's Hole,
we could intercept it there, assuming the time travel plot works, and perhaps prevent all the damage that we have allowed to recklessly continue in our wake.
He looks up and he says, it might be possible. I've never tried to temporally and spatially transport somebody in the negative temporal direction.
What would happen to the other us's? Would they still kill the people in the keep?
Oh, yes, of course. If we transported you temporally and spatially to another dimensional location, it would create a splinter universe, whereas the universe of people that were transported here and the universe of people that were not transported here. And do you understand the many worlds philosophies of quantum mechanics?
I'm afraid I skipped that chapter at the Keep of Sylvanas. You'll have to fill me in on the blanks.
Well, essentially, if we try to temporally transport you in the negative temporal direction, essentially what will happen is we will splinter the universe into two separate, entire different universes.
So there would be two us's.
One dying and burning in hell forever, and one that would be you.
What?
So if we go back in time, does the other version of us still
endless torture
kill the Dragonheart?
Yeah. What happens to Zardoc Sunblight in the universe where we travel back 2 days?
Ooh, don't know. Never done it before. Maybe he wins.
But without a dragon.
Don't even know if it would work. I tell you what, I do know that I could spatially transport you in the present time sphere, such as you might call a transporter room.
And time is a maybe.
Don't know. Never tried time before.
All right.
Might go the wrong direction. Might transport forward in time. That would probably be negative, wouldn't it?
Well,
not temporally.
If we can't quickly deal with the dragon, then moving forward in time won't matter anyway, because the dragon will have done its damage anyway. We've got to move now, immediately, or conversely, backwards.
Well, if we can move now, I would like to bargain with him. Since you have so many weapons on this ship that are psi-powered, why can't we potentially craft one that is psi powered and take it with us.
If you have the ability to craft such a weapon in a timely fashion, then yeah, I would allow you to do such a thing.
I would think between our robot and all of your people that we would be able to do so.
I'm happy to lend my knowledge to the effort.
I feel like I'm being quite generous in offering you all laser rifles.
Completely agree. Completely agree. We are getting the better end of this deal any way it shakes out, assuming you don't kill us or take over the world.
I would argue we're doing very well by each other, Leonard, because he can't do anything without this shiny crystal, what we haven't turned over yet.
Agreed.
I suppose that's true.
I think we both get a fair shake.
He looks over at you and he says, "You're the strongest, right? With your big like mace that shoots out god power."
Only by the power of Sylvanus go I.
Indeed. I suppose I could just dominate you and then use your god powers to eliminate everybody in one giant laser blast.
That was not our accord. And I began to bristle a bit.
Of course not. There's no need for violence.
Of course not. I agree. Our taking over of minds.
Indeed.
But we would graciously accept any help you can provide that helps us save our world, even though it's not your problem.
He looks over at you and he says, "Okay, here's the deal. I know that if you give me the psi crystal, that I can turn on the interdimensional jump drives and reroute them in order to transport you wherever you tell me you want to go. Blink, you're here, blink, you're there you go. In terms of transporting through time, the way the ship jump works does involve temporal drives, but I have never, ever, ever attempted anything like that before. I do not know if it would work. It may be dangerous. You might wind up dead. You might wind up in the wrong time. I just do not know. I could try, but I could try, but I'll tell you right now, if it doesn't work, it could wind up being very, very, very bad for you."
If there was no temporal jump, could you facilitate perhaps 2 jumps, one of us and one of an incendiary device to instantly transport inside the dragon?
I don't think I can be that accurate with it, just to be entirely honest with you. It's just going to be a miracle that I don't land you inside of a tree.
Can you transport objects, or can you just transport this vessel?
I can transport objects.
I have an alternative that I'd like to propose. That you transport all of us to potentially where the dragon is, and then transport us and the dragon to a different dimension, and then
I'm afraid I can't do that. It's a one-way jump unless you're coming with the boat. And if I route the engines to jump you, I don't have the power to move the boat. And to be honest with you, it's going to take about a month of repairs for me to get the ship ready to move again. I can't even start the repairs without the crystal. So I'm not going to be able to jump you and then jump you again. It is a one-way jump wherever you want to go. So this is our
one shot.
And if you want me to try a temporal jump, I could do it, but I don't know how that's going to work out for you.
It's been 2 days. That dragon has gone around. How many cities have already fallen?
So roll insight on that.
Okay.
Because it's like how much you're asking yourself, basically, is how I'm rolling that. Maybe 2, or maybe Dugan's Hole, and maybe Goodmead. The dragon couldn't.
Goodmead.
The dragon couldn't make it to some of the far cities in the 10 towns in 2 days, and still destroy them. It's not like it's going to take 10 minutes to destroy an entire town. You know what I'm saying? Like a dragon attack would be like a day. Maybe it's at Goodmead now. Maybe it's still at Dugan's Hole.
So the question is, do we play for all the marbles?
Or do you
try to go back in time, or do we do the safe choice, which is to jump there now?
Or do you try to cut it off?
Yeah, that's the question. The safe sober choice is to jump directly there.
Everybody roll insight on this guy.
I'd vote safe and sober choice at this point.
Cadillac, Leonard, Yutara, Arcus, and Ordella, you can't tell. But the three of you, you're convinced that he is being straightforward with you. He's not holding anything back. He's not fibbing. He's not bluffing. He really doesn't know if he could do any sort of temporal jumping, or like in his mind, like he's not even entirely certain like that you stay on Toriel, that you like don't wind up in Avernus or like some terrible place.
Yeah, I'm all on board with the laser pistol and transport idea, but I could be convinced to time travel, but I feel like
I'm leaning towards time travel.
We sort of accept what we've lost and work on preventing the third one.
We got 2 votes. We have 2 votes for safe and transport. We have 1 vote for risk it all and time travel.
Safety.
No, time travel.
We have 3 votes for safe and 2 votes for time travel.
All right.
Shrubwad, come here.
No, if Leonard's on the fence, it's time travel. If it's a tiebreaker, it's time travel.
Well,
Shrubwad gets a vote.
It was 3-2.
No,
So
if it's an uneven number of people, it's time travel.
So what I've got is I've got Yutara safe. I've got Ordella safe. I've got Cadillac risky. I've got Harkas risky.
We gonna die.
Leonard
risky.
All right, so you tell him we want to time travel.
Now, I will say risky asterisk, because the psi crystal he wants is bonded to Yutara, so I can't agree to give that up without Yutara going on with majority rule for risky time travel.
You know, that's a good point.
Yep. Y'all discuss it.
I got veto power.
Y'all discuss it. I have to go get a big dice because this is going to be a real big roll.
So yeah, Yutara, you do kind of. I mean, if you just want to play hardball here, do have the sort of right of veto, I suppose.
Yeah, you would have to give up your attunement to the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's talk about the implications of time travel, right? Because if we do this, then that could unbound everything that we've done so far.
He seemed to indicate that the previous us's might still do their thing.
Might.
So
and
right.
Then eternally suffer.
Right.
Once they blink out of existence, once they blink out of existence, because their timeline comes to an end, it's eternal suffering.
Oh, wait a minute. So they don't do their thing.
I'm just
So the moment we go back there, they disappear.
My head is hurting paradoxes.
No, I think
Wait a minute. What type of ship are you running here? You don't mean to tell me that you launched without a paradox suppression field?
It's broken.
Let me guess. It'll take a month to repair.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
At least a month.
At least
So
a month.
What would even be our plan if we go back?
To
kill the dragon before it destroys Goodmead.
Yeah, destroy the dragon immediately, and then nobody dies. None of the cities get obliterated
Except us.
Well, the other us's, but like we're this us, so you know.
So we don't care about the other us's.
So,
I mean, even Bill and Ted cared about the other us's.
So we think
like
2, maybe 3
firepower
cities have been destroyed.
You're not sure. Maybe. Yeah.
That's our ballpark.
That's your best guess. That's your best guess. 2, maybe 3. It could be at East Haven now.
So we don't know the effect of the firepower that we have. So it may take us more time to kill the dragon. So if we go back in time, we will have more time to engage the dragon before it goes to a city.
As you say that, he pipes up and goes, if.
If.
I'm not 100% certain that I won't jump you forward in time.
Hmm.
You know,
I have a
next
feeling we'll jump back in time and get roasted like hot dogs at a gas station.
You know what's really funny is if you go back in time and get roasted at hot dogs at the gas station, and the other ewes come and they do this again, and then they jump forward and then they get roasted like hot dogs, and then the other ewes come and they get roasted like hot dogs, and the other ewes come.
I'll make a whole pack.
So it's eternal suffering either way.
Yeah, now you're getting it. No. I'm just not sure what will happen. Listen, the temporal drives are really just to suspend relativity when we hop dimensions. Forcing negative energy through the temporal drives to force a negative temporal transport is beyond relativity suspension. I don't even know what's going to happen. I mean,
is there a chance you lose the ship?
Nothing I couldn't repair, but it's possible that, like, your atoms could be scrambled to the nether dimensions and you find yourselves instantly, like, obliterated beyond all measure and ability.
Well, let's not be pessimistic.
Which would be bad.
Let me put it this way. You would be the first individuals ever to experience what it is actually like to fall through the singularity of a black hole.
Well, I made my peace that I was probably sacrificing my life to save the world from this evil when I came up here from the south.
But here's the
so
good news.
I am Cadillac understands that sacrifices may need to be made.
His little like squid arms like pat you on the shoulder and say, "Well, the good news is if you're obliterated, your sacrifice will be useless."
I scowl at him.
What if we percolate on this for 8 hours?
You need to take a nap? Okay, I tell you
Have
what.
any outlets that will fit him?
You give me the crystal, and I'll start working on the temporal displacement fields and dimensional jump drives and re-rigging them in order to transport individuals both temporally and spatially. And you guys all just trust me and take a nap.
I don't like the way you said that.
No, right? It's like, I was going along with it until then.
Right. I was completely 100% on board until that exact moment.
What did I say?
Trust me and take a nap?
I mean,
Calling all PMs.
We'll wake up on the side of a glacier. This ship will be gone.
It's in a kidney.
This is what makes D&D so much fun.
Does this smell like chloroform?
This is the most absurd tan situation in the world.
So Yutara hasn't fully agreed to not just make his own agreement here.
And I'll be honest,
does not involve going back in time.
I'm torn. I'm torn because, I mean, on the one hand, it's just 2 cities. Like, they're small.
And one's Dugan's Hole.
2 out of 10 ain't bad.
Really, we may get there and find out that Merkin has single-handedly killed the dragon.
Markin.
Like freaking Rambo.
Merkin.
I would just like to say that at this point, Harkus is all about time traveling and getting the dragon because all he can see is a giant dragon-sized pelt to match the dragon heart pelt that he already has.
Well, what's this guy's name? What's the gnome's guy's name?
He told it to you. His name
he
is
did.
Vorin.
The dragon is still there regardless of the time. now or later, the dragon is still around with its pelt.
Oh yeah, it's definitely still there.
Vorin, you said, okay, so you said can you go anywhere? Once.
Well, I could probably send you just about anywhere within a certain radius.
Can-
Anywhere in this area that you really wish to go.
Where did you come from?
Oh, that's a long story.
Well, I don't
We got 8
I don't mean
hours.
your life story. Where did this ship come from?
At first, I grew up on small.
But poor child, Mississippi.
He looks at you and says, we were traveling across the interdimensional space, sailing through the astral sea. I was heading for docking at a local station outside of the Rock of Brawl, and we encountered some deep elves, space elves, and wouldn't you know it, here we are.
Can you get us to where you were going?
Not right now, unfortunately. Are you wanting to join the crew? We have dental.
My thought
He holds out a
was
little
to if you can move anywhere instantly, get you to a safe port with your own people, and then come back here with a fully functional ship.
Unfortunately, that's not really how it works, I'm afraid.
I didn't think it would be.
Like trade up for a fully intact ship with all the weapons,
No,
bring a navy back to take care of the dragon, and then
I'll say
sort
bring
out what we
two.
owe later.
Because it
No,
all happens instantly.
Unfortunately, the ship cannot transport anywhere in space and time instantly. In order to do something like that, you would need a time and relative dimension and spacecraft, and those are very, very hard to come by.
Fair enough. All right.
Fair enough.
I don't know if you've ever encountered one of the people that makes those, but they are assholes.
So, come on.
Well, what's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen?
I feel like
Yatara, what say you?
Yatara, what say you?
You get 3 votes.
Is there any way that you can help equip us if we do travel back to help defeat this dragon?
The only thing I've really got that you can have that I'm willing to part with are the laser pistols. You can have them.
Are there any other warm bodies that you can help
I need my crew.
contribute to the cause?
I need my crew.
Are there any items that you anticipate not being able to repair that could perhaps be cannibalized into a weapon effective against a crystal-based dragon?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that too much. That's a very complicated question. Maybe? Do you want to go up to the parts room and look around?
Yeah, I do. I very much do.
Okay. And he says, follow me upstairs. You following him up the stairs?
Yes.
I'll go too.
I want to go too, out of curiosity.
Is everybody just going up to the parts room then?
Yeah.
All right, let me just
Sure,
get
why
you
not?
all. Let me just get you all together.
So as we're all walking up the stairs, I ask him, so we've been thinking about blowing up the dragon. Could you just take him over? You seem very advanced.
It doesn't really work that way. Constructs. He can tell from your mind it's a construct. Constructs are sort of different. And all right, you all are drug up the steps. Not drug, but you make your way up the steps.
Drugged up the steps.
Bodily hauled up the steps.
Yep. Bodily hauled up the steps. Let me get him. Vorin. And in this area, there you make your way up the steps, and sorry, wrong steps. Yeah, you come up these set of steps, and you come up another set of steps, and eventually you make your way all the way up here, where there is a what looks like a helm's room that you're at. In the helm's room, there is another one of these gnome xenomorph looking guys who looks over at all of you and says, he sort of just like wiggles his tentacles, and you don't hear anything really that he's saying. And then Vorin sort of like, his tentacles sort of twitch at him, and then he says, he sort of turns back, and you can see here there's a glass like viewing panel, and he is standing here at what looks like a helm's room of some sort, command deck, you would sort of guess. There is a suspended from the ceiling, there's like a lattice of bioluminescent jellyfish that have glowing tips and tendrils that form constellations. There's a high-backed chair with short armrests and crystal blue orbs that sort of like act as some sort of controls. And there is a helm wheel, and a panel on the starboard wall lies open, exposing a pulsing tendril of flesh embedded with crystal shards. And Vorin leads you here into this room, which he describes as the parts room. And what you see in here is a giant table with multiple like orbs and parts and things embedded into the walls of the table. He says it's piled with clutter. There are strange gizmos attached to the walls above the floor. They look like the tips of metal wands held in pincer claws, and they irradiate some form of energy. There is a work table in here with a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah, I would like to, with our tentacle gentleman's assistance, my idea is, I'll just tell you my intent and we'll see where it goes. I have this horn of blasting. And I would love to perhaps use some of their technology to maybe amplify that effect or something to get the most bang for our buck possible. And I'm willing to sacrifice the horn of blasting for it. I don't know what they might have. Some psychic band delimiter, or I don't know, magic.
Yeah, describe to me how your artificer wants to do this.
Like, so my thinking is, I've got the horn of blasting, which has a fairly
tell me how you're artificing this, how it's actually going to work. Okay.
So I think in my mind, I've got the horn of blasting, which already deals increased damage to crystalline structures.
Okay.
And my thinking is that perhaps by attuning that to some of the psychic frequency dispensation stuff that it has, like their radio wave distributors or something.
Okay.
That horn of blasting, that those sonic waves could perhaps be dispersed over a larger area to hit one target for a great impact.
As you're sort of thinking about this, he says, so you're wanting an amplifier?
Yeah, exactly.
You just want to make a giant amp?
To work with this, and I hold up the horn of blasting.
So what you're saying is you want to turn it up to 11?
Yes. Yes, indeed. I do want to turn it up to, it only goes to 10, and I need it to 11.
Well, knock yourself out.
Start playing air guitar.
There's a whole table of gizmos and doomaflichies and all sorts of like little parts and things. And Artificer, you're gonna roll me something.
Uh-huh.
Your artificing is based on your intelligence, correct?
Probably. Let's see.
Like your spellcasting modifier is intelligence, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So you're going to try to make an
It's gotta be.
amplifier. You're going to try to make some sort of psionic amplifier out of alien technology. Roll me an intelligence check plus your proficiency bonus, whatever that is.
Okay.
5.
Can I use my inspiration?
What is your proficiency bonus?
My proficiency bonus is 3, so I'd like to use my inspiration to reroll.
We got an 8. All right. Go ahead and re-roll that bad boy. So we got a 15 here.
A 15.
That's not bad. With a 15, you are able to quickly find parts. You find a set of like strange wires and alien coils, and you are able to quickly like solder them onto this horn of blasting. You're able to attach this like extra spool of like strange metallic material that's able to, in your best estimation, amplify the effects of the horn. But with only a 15, your solder job is a little weak, and you're not sure how long it's gonna last. Like maybe one use and the amplifier on the horn destroys itself. Maybe 2 uses and it destroys itself. You're just not sure.
It doesn't look sturdy.
Yeah, you think it'll do the job. Like it's gonna maybe amplify things. But you're not 100% certain. And it could increase that risk of the horn blowing up itself. If you remember correctly, the way the horn blasting works is creatures made of glass or crystal have disadvantage on the saving throw, and they take 10d6 thunder damage instead of 5d6. So for practical purposes, as long as this thing is intact, instead of taking 10d6, the thing is going to take probably 15d6.
I'm willing to take the risk of losing it forever.
Yeah, 15d6 thunder damage. With each use, the horn normally has a 20% chance of blowing up. Either the amplifier is going to destroy itself on some random roll, or the horn itself is going to be more likely to destroy itself on some random roll. But as long as this thing is attached to it, it's going to amplify the damage.
All right. I am comfortable with that moving forward.
That's what you're able to get out of like
Perfect.
A quick job. Vorin looks over at all of you and says, well, here are... He looks over at you, Yatar, and says, the crystal, please. We have an accord, correct?
One glance at everyone one last time to see if anybody has any second thoughts.
Temporally jump or spatially jump? Or both?
I look to Yatara because I can be convinced either way. I mean, we lose 2 cities and take the dragon out with our considerable might, or we try to reverse time and risk going into a hellscape of eternal torment.
That's just one possibility. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to be straight with you. Completely straight. I don't know that anyone has ever attempted this before in the history of ever. It's one of those things that they teach you in flying school to never, never, never do. Like, in fact, I think there's even a sticker on it that says, don't do it.
So I hand him the crystal and I tell him, for some reason, I really love the turtles in time and we should go back.
Okay. Where do you want me to try to land you?
You know exactly where we want to go.
I know when, 2 days ago, but where? You want to go to, I assume you want to go to Dugan's Hole, where the dragon is going to land.
Can you drop us off somewhere very specific in Dugan's Hole?
I mean,
Could we go? Well, what about Grindolfa's Keep?
to a degree.
But if we went back 2 days to Gandalf's Keep, it's Zardok's Keep, and we've got to fight off all the guys.
Well, if we got there though when the dragon first launched, then it wouldn't be around the city. But the timing would have to be precise.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Granite Cuts. Precise is not how this is going to work. We're just going to be lucky to keep your atoms from being scrambled.
I still vote
Okay.
safe.
Calendar of the okay, so take we'll go to the calendar of the space gods then.
Calendar of the Space People. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Thought you might.
Yeah, I do. It's a monument to an evil demon. All right. Come on down to... Well, actually, this is going to take just a little bit. You guys want to take a rest, get a little Capri Sun, get a nap?
Capri Suns.
Laser pistols.
I cast Zone of Truth.
The Bible.
I cast Zone of Truth,
Okie dokie. Zone of Truth.
and then I say, just to be sure, if we take a nap, we want to make sure that everyone remains safe and good to go. We trust your word, but we just want to verify and make sure. I'm sure you understand.
As you ask that in Zone of Truth, he says, "I'm in Zone of Truth, right? Right? You got to tell me if I'm. You got to tell me if
you are in Zone of Truth.
Listen, you got to tell me if you're a cop." He says,
I'm a narc right now. Yeah.
He says, I don't need to lie. I'm not going to mess with you while you're taking a nap. That's fine. You can take a little short rest if you want to. It'll only take me a couple hours with the crystal to reroute this energy transfer. I ain't got no need to attack you because, I mean, I think there's probably like an 80% chance that you all die just when I hit the button.
What happens to you? Well, what happens to you?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I mean, worst case scenario, the panel blows out, everything explodes, your atoms are scrambled, and the psi crystal falls to the floor, and you're dead, and I repair my ship.
That seems awfully specifically high. Well, 80%. That's.
I don't know. I just guess. It might be better than that, maybe.
I look at you, Tara.
He says in Zone of Truth, he looks over, he goes, I'll give it 50-50.
50-50 I can live with.
No, maybe.
Best response ever.
We should have put him in Zone of Truth before. This has become more amusing.
That's scarier.
Yeah.
Okay, and we get our laser pistols for me to.
Oh sure. Oh sure. One condition: if your atoms are, I'm going to attach a rematerializer to them, and if your atoms are scrambled, I get them back.
Can you attach those to us?
No. Just
It doesn't work that way, apparently.
Doesn't work that way. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He said, "No, that's just a joke. It wouldn't. That doesn't work that way. I couldn't get them back. They'd be gone. De-atomized."
I just want to take a minute to genuinely thank him for one, negotiating in good faith, and two, assuming he doesn't murder us by morning, not murdering us by morning.
I have no intention to murder you. You guys are all suiciding anyways.
We gonna die.
We are playing for all the marbles. That's what we're doing.
We
lost our marbles.
You're playing with loose. You're playing with loose marbles. Is what you're doing.
The 8 towns just doesn't have the same ring to it.
I know, but they'll rebuild.
Not if they're dead.
A monument to the fair heroes who were de-atomized and nobody knew their names.
Yeah, there will be 8 statues.
They wouldn't even know.
If we don't make it, tell somebody that Toot's crew tried.
Yeah, tell the 8 towns that Toot's crew tried.
Tell my wife I said hello. All right. Go take your nap. I'll get it to work.
All right.
Okay, so does this turn into a short rest? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, go take yourself a Capri Sun, get a short rest. And he heads out of the materials room and says, I'll come get you. You guys can all take a short rest.
All right.
All right. Everybody short rest?
Mm-hmm.
As you're short resting, the like orbs around you begin to start to light up and glow as the ship starts to pulse, and you can tell that some sort of energy has been returned to the craft as systems are starting to come online. You hear some humming and whirring, and somewhere in the distance you hear a Windows XP sound go boom. Ding, 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 ding. As if a 1997 computer has rebooted.
Sounds eerily familiar.
You have mail.
After a short period of time, Borin returns and says, you guys all rested up for this?
I'm going to have another Capri Sun, and then I'm good to go.
All right. So we're looking at Dugan's Hole near the calendar of the space people at about 2 days ago from now sometime. Right? Right.
Yeah. Does anybody remember enough to give a more specific time? I got 2 days-ish.
Locked in. I've already programmed it. We're ready to go. Come on, boys and ladies. Follow me. He opens the door and heads out. You guys following?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
In it to win it.
Oh,
This is the
okay.
best idea ever.
Takes you downstairs into a room with a bunch of different pods. He says, I have rerouted the transmatter configurators into these stasis pods in order to effect them into a transportation room. Everybody climb into a pod.
I'll climb into a pod.
Pick your pod. You too, wizard. I love the notion that all of this is being decided without your other character, just for her. I wonder what Zarya would say.
Well,
Things were crazy and walk off and
Well,
like, I don't know
clearly.
these people anyway.
Clearly,
but here's
she
the
would say
thing:
yes.
if it's 3-2 now, with Yatara as the tiebreaker, as the owner of the crystal, and Yatara's on board, it's a win no matter what.
Okay, so I wasn't in Zone of Truth when I told you everything was all programmed and set, so that was a bit of a lie. Here's how it works. All right, everybody, this thing's going to operate on psionic energy. I'm going to pump negative energy into it. So we're going to be totally violating Einstein's laws, if you know who he is. Probably not, because he's from another dimension. From another dimension, don't worry about that. All right, here's what I need you.
He sounds like a wizard.
He's cousin to Elminster. Now, here's how it's going to work. I need everybody to think as hard as you can about Dugan's Hole 2 days ago. Dugan's Hole 2 days ago. Dugan's Hole 2 days ago. Dugan's Hole 2 days ago.
All right.
Got it?
Leonard's got that locked in.
Think.
Locked
Everybody roll an intelligence check.
Oh
Uh-oh.
God. Oh geez.
The save or the rate?
Check. Intelligence check. Everything around
I
you
miss you,
starts.
Harkus.
Everything around you starts to hum and glow as everything starts getting really, really bright and the whole room begins to fill with energy. As you're all thinking very, very hard about where you want to be. Harkus, you forgot where Dugan's Hole was.
No.
You're thinking about a place, but you're not entirely certain where Dugan's Hole is.
I
He's
thought you
thinking
said
of hell.
Dragon's Hole.
Yeah. You're thinking about some strange place. You're not entirely certain. You're thinking Dragon's Hole. That's what you're thinking. That's exactly what you're thinking. All of a sudden, everything turns bright and white. There's energy that's just like seeping into you. The whole ship begins to shake violently, and you're all shaking violently. And all of a sudden, everything goes bright and white, and then silent. As you find yourself surrounded by absolute pure silence. The purest and deepest silence and brightest white that you have ever seen before. Or ever heard before. And then, out of nowhere, your vision starts to come clearer. Find yourselves in a slightly more familiar location. There's cold. Cold air surrounds you. But sort of a strange, like just deep biting cold, but warm. There's also a warmth. Your vision is cloudy, and you're still not 100% certain where you're at. Your feet, you find yourself standing on snow. You don't see any of the spires of the calendar of the space people around you. You're definitely not there. But there's the sounds of crackling flames, maybe, around you. And all of a sudden, the world sort of becomes clearer as you find yourselves standing in the middle of a familiar place, city of Dugan's Hole.
Yes!
Except
Oh,
Dugan's Hole is not as you remember it, because Dugan's Hole is currently erupting in fire and hovering over top of all of you, and as you stare there, unleashes a massive ball of flame down, is a giant crystalline dragon that lets out a horrific roar over the top of the city and over the top of all of you as it unleashes flame down upon all of you. And you find yourselves in a moment of peril, because the entire city of Dugan's Hole is not destroyed, but people are running, screaming, as the dragon is currently unleashing hellfire down on top of you. You all look around, and you see everyone. Everyone except one party member. Harkus Broadtooth. Although you see him here, Harkus Broadtooth is nowhere to be seen.
Oh goodness.
The dragon is unleashing fire on top of you all. You stand there holding laser pistols at your side beneath the dragon's fire. It turns its eyes at all of you and unleashes a bolt of horrific flame. And that is where we will end it for the evening.
No.
And Harkus is chilling 3 days from now.
Harkus, as
He's
an
like on a tropical island, sipping a Mai Tai. He's like, this is great, great idea.
as an epilogue, Harkus, you find yourself, your vision comes back, and you're in a very, very unusual place. The ground is extremely unsteady beneath you and hard, rock-hard ground. Turn off the armor sounds.
You're in a
You don't know
cutlery
You hear the
factory.
sounds of battle below you.
He's in
You
Avernus.
You don't know where you have no idea where you're at. You feel the wind rushing past you. You feel tremendous cold. You hear the sounds of screaming and burning and terror as you are in just this horrific frozen landscape. Roll me a dexterity saving throw, Harkus, in this epilogue.
Ooh.
With a 20, you manage to stay your balance as you fall down even still, but do not crash off as your face crashes down onto the ground, which you realize is not in fact ground, but is crystal, as you have found yourself materialized on the back of a giant flying dragon hovering over top of Dugan's Hole.
Ride it.
Your compatriots having no
Start
idea
harvesting
where
the
you
pelt
were,
now.
having no
Yeah.
idea where you were at.
This could not have worked out better.
Right. This is possibly the
For us,
best
not for Harkus.
placement of Harkus.
You see, this is what happens when you play for all the marbles.
Guys rolled well on your intelligence checks, except
I take
Harkus
it.
and
Yeah.
I take a brief moment to cast a window onto the side of the dragon.
Stab his heart-ish.
as the flames erupt below Dugan's Hole, as the city is on fire. And that, ladies and gentlemen, you are laser pistol equipped. You have teleported back in time as the dragon has been brought back to Dugan's Hole, and the destruction of Dugan's Hole is underway as opposed to complete. You find yourselves beneath the fire and the flames, with Harkus nearly falling to his death, however, holding on to dear life as he finds himself clinging to the back of a crystalline dragon hovering hundreds of feet up in the air. And that is where we will leave you for tonight. When we return next week, we will see what happens at the Siege of Dugan's Hole.
Wow.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes.
Good job on the role play. Good job on the decision. Good job on the rolls. I hope you guys had a good time. That was awesome.
Without question.
A lot of fun.
Yes.
Yes.
We will see you all next week for what is shaping up to be the battle for Dugan's Hole against the giant Shardle crystalline dragon. Good
Wow.
night, everybody.
Night.
Awesome. Night, everyone.
Night.
See you next week.
Get out of there. Stop it. That's not for you. The dog is getting into my box of wood chunks for the pizza oven. She's like, I love
Oh, we don't have to
chunks.
order pizza. You can make us a pizza.
Jonathan, are you surviving? Is Zoom figuring it out? We've been having a good time. This is probably going to be a shorter session anyway, so it's okay.
I'm old and ready for a nap.
Lies, lies, lies. Every time Jeffrey says that, we go 3 hours.
No,
I've got
Okay.
the timestamps to prove it.
well, that's up to you guys. I'll go ahead and get started, and Jonathan
If I
can
start snoring, just let me know.
Jonathan can squeak in here whenever his Zoom is behaving, and I'll just go ahead and start the narration. So begin the actual recording now. Last time you guys were here on Icewind. Stop. Cut it. The actual recording.
Okay, now.
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 The last time you guys were here on Icewind Rime of the Frostmaiden, you had defeated Zardok Sunblade.